In a kingdom where meals could crown kings and betrayals were served on golden plates, one woman's cooking changed destiny itself. This is the story of love, loyalty, and revenge simmering beneath royal splendor. Before we return to the fire, remember to subscribe, like, and turn on the notification bell, because every bite of this story tastes better when you don't miss an episode. The kingdom of Joseon was alive with tension. A grand cooking competition had begun. A battle not just of flavor, but of pride and power. The king of Joseon faced off against the envoy of the Ming dynasty, a man who carried deceit beneath his robes and arrogance in his tone. This was more than a feast. It was a war of cultures, a test to prove whose people were stronger, wiser, and more refined. As flames danced beneath golden pots, the aroma of spices filled the palace. Every dish represented honor. When the final meal was served, Joseon triumphed. The Ming envoy, humiliated, bowed before the king. The losers were forced to pay tribute, their defeat echoing across the kingdoms. But before celebrations could even begin, the Queen Dowager stormed into the hall. Her voice sliced through the air like a blade. "You are no envoy. Your king is dead. Who sent you?" The envoy fell to his knees, trembling. His deception was treason, a crime punishable by death. But in a surprising act of mercy, the Queen Dowager forgave him, leaving the court in stunned silence. If you're enjoying this royal chaos already, hit that like button and subscribe because we're just getting started. That same afternoon, the Grand Prince requested to taste all the competition dishes. He called for the chief cook, Ji-young, a woman whose hands could turn sorrow into sweetness and loyalty into flavor. Overjoyed by the prince's request, Ji-young poured her heart into every ingredient. As she presented the dish, she spoke of its history, the tale of love and resilience behind its recipe. But by morning, joy turned to horror. The young prince had fallen gravely ill, poisoned. The palace erupted in chaos. Ji-young, the royal chef, was accused of attempting to kill the prince. The king, upon hearing this, was consumed with fury. The prince's mother stormed into the throne room, demanding Ji-young's head. She cried, "No one leaves until my son is well." The king, enraged, almost struck her down, until Ji-young, trembling, stepped between them. "Your Majesty," she pleaded, "please, don't let anger destroy what little peace we have left." Her courage softened the king's rage. A bargain was struck. Ji-young would live, but if the prince died, she would face execution. When the palace doctor began his investigation, every servant in the kitchen claimed innocence. They'd all eaten from the same leftovers and none fell ill. That's when he realized the poison didn't come from the food. Something else was at play. He rushed to the sick prince's chamber to report his findings. The prince's mother was heartbroken. She'd watched her son eat. How could poison have reached him without her noticing? The king, meanwhile, spotted a package beside the prince's bed. A jar of restorative herbs sent by Prince Jezin, his cunning, snake-like uncle. Suspicion clouded the king's face. He examined the herbs himself and discovered traces of a deadly toxin. The real culprit wasn't Ji-young, but someone hiding deep within the palace shadows. If you think Ji-young deserves justice, comment #Team Ji-young below and make sure you're subscribed for part 2 of this royal storm. Soon, the Grand Dowager visited Ji-young in the prison. Her eyes were cold, her words colder. "Did you do it?" she asked. Ji-young's answer was steady. "No, Your Majesty. I would never." Something in her tone struck the Dowager. She believed her, at least partially. "Then find the true culprit," she said. "You have 3 days. If you fail, you'll die." The Dowager released her, not out of mercy, but to see whether Ji-young could survive the deadly web she'd been caught in. The moment Ji-young was freed, she returned to the kitchen. The king met her there, pulling her into a tight embrace, relief flooding his face. "Your Majesty," she whispered, "please stay away from me. Our closeness is what they envy most. It's what put us here." But the king refused. "Let them talk," he said. "I won't lose you to rumors or politics." Meanwhile, the dowager secretly prayed for Ji Young's failure, ready to strike her down at the first mistake. After hours of searching, Ji Young found the truth. The poison was hidden in the prince's medicine. Even the king fell ill after tasting it himself. The court erupted in shock. The female palace doctor who handled the herbs had vanished. She'd been taken by Consort Kong and Prince Jezin, who were orchestrating a coup to overthrow the throne. The king sent his loyal guards to track them down. Just as Consort Kang's maid tried to kill the doctor, a royal soldier arrived, forcing her to confess everything. Justice was near, and Ji Young's name was finally cleared. Soon after, the Grand Dowager's birthday arrived. The palace bloomed with joy, music, dance, and dishes prepared by Ji Young filled the halls. The celebration sparkled, until a dark truth shattered the peace. A messenger revealed the long-hidden secret of the king's mother's death. She was murdered, and the one behind it was none other than the Grand Dowager herself. The king froze, sword trembling in his hand. As he raised it toward the dowager, Ji Young stepped between them once again. "Don't do this," she whispered. "You'll lose yourself." But anger blinded him. He pushed her away, tears streaming down his face. The dowager confessed. Jealousy had driven her to poison his mother. Then, from the shadows, an old woman emerged, the king's grandmother, alive after years of hiding. She spoke softly. "Your mother's last wish was for you to be a jade king, a ruler with compassion." The sword fell from his hand. The dowager was dragged away in disgrace, her screams echoing through the golden halls. The court fell silent, and grief swallowed the king whole. That night, the king wandered alone through the royal gardens, the same place his mother once taught him about healing herbs. Ji Young followed him with a lantern. "You shouldn't be here," he murmured. "Then let me stand with you anyway," she replied softly. But in the shadows, Prince Jezin was plotting his final betrayal. He gathered corrupt officials and soldiers, commanding them to strike before dawn. One loyal general tried to warn the king, but was killed on the way. The palace fell under siege. Flames rose, swords clashed, and blood stained the royal grounds. A ninja appeared from the darkness, saving Ji Young from an attempted kidnapping. Meanwhile, Jezin, dressed in the king's robes, murdered the Grand Dowager himself, spreading lies that the king had done it. The land drowned in chaos. If you're still with us, give this video a thumbs up, because the story's about to explode into heartbreak and fire. The king's loyal men fought their way back into the palace. Jezin, now sitting on the throne, declared himself ruler. The king confronted him, calm but furious. "Why, uncle?" Jezin only smiled. "Because the crown was never meant for you." He was banished to the forest, but that was a trap. Jezin's men waited in ambush. The king, however, had his own soldiers hidden nearby. A fierce battle broke out. Steel against steel, brother against brother. When the dust settled, the king's army prevailed, but Ji Young had been captured. He raced through the forest, slaughtering Jezin's guards one by one until he found her. And there, sitting quietly with a cup of tea, was Prince Jezin, smiling, waiting. The king attacked with everything he had, but Jezin struck a fatal blow. Ji Young leapt between them, saving her king and losing her life. As she fell into his arms, the Mangan Rock, the sacred royal cookbook, began to glow. A storm of light surrounded them, freezing time itself. "Your Majesty," she whispered, smiling weakly. "Remember me, even if the world forgets." Tears streamed down his face. "I will never forget you." Then, "That's enough." She pressed her bloodied hand on the glowing pages. A blinding light filled the air, and everything faded into silence. In a world where food could heal, betray, the next minute Ji Young opens her eyes in the present. She wishes to see the king again, but to no avail. She holds the book close to heart and reminisced on the last moment they shared. 1 month later, she went to see a friend who owns a restaurant. He begs her to make the restaurant into a 5-star because she is the best he knows. She is given the position of a head chef, and when she meets the staff in the kitchen, they all looked like the staff in the royal kitchen. She was so happy, but none of them remembered her. Once business started, She came out to serve a customer in the restaurant, but he was being stubborn. Then she heard a very familiar voice, and it called out to her. When she turned, it was the king in a full modern regalia and a glow-up. He told her, "I promised you that I would be here for you." They hugged warmly and shared a passionate kiss.